Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live pop-up chat. And I want to get straight into the chat because we have some hot news. It is Thursday the 22nd of August 2019 and the Cambridges have flown to Scotland. They landed, they flew from London to Edinburgh and they landed, I think it was an 8:45 flight. So they would have got there, not too long after, and they arrived at Edinburgh Airport. And of course, it's to holiday in Scotland with the Queen at Balmoral. So I kind of anticipated that they may sort of turn up within the next couple of weeks because obviously the summer holidays here in the UK are kind of, we've got a couple of weeks left. So we haven't seen them yet, so I expected it to be at least within the next couple of weeks. And they'll probably stay for a week, maybe even two. I don't know. The press. Oh, the press. They have made a huge, big fuss, of course, about the method and the way that the Cambridges have flown to Scotland. So it appears that they have actually flown on a budget airline. Apparently, a normal, typical ticket would cost about £79. Now, I am going to link to the article because, again, it is fairly pertinent because there are some details which I'm going to be talking about, which some people may want to take a good look at. So I'm going to find the chat room first, and then I will post the link so that you can, if you want to, you can open it and have a look at kind of what I'm going to be pondering, because I do have a few questions, I have to say, about all of it. I'm not quite sure if notifications are going out. I don't probably expect them to because, again, YouTube doesn't push out notifications for videos if you post more than 3 in a 24-hour period, which I have done. So there is the link. I will also put the link in the description box if you are watching later on catch up, which I think most people probably will. So I'm going to kind of just get into it, really. So like I say, the press has been going complete nuts over Harry and Meghan's private jet flights. Of course, the ones to Elton John's villa was paid for by Elton John, and it was carbon offset, I should point out. But I think basically they have been lying in wait and waiting to see how William and Catherine get to Scotland. Now, I've been thinking, and I've asked a few other people as well, I've asked some of my moderators, can you ever remember a time when, well, for a start, that anybody was actually interested in how the Cambridges got to Scotland? But I also don't remember any photographs, I don't remember any videos of how the Cambridges previously got to Scotland. I can't picture a picture or a video. I can show examples of how the Queen gets there. I've seen pictures of the Queen boarding private jet. We've seen pictures of Prince Andrew most recently flying by private jet. But I can't seem to find any reference to how the Cambridges have previously got up to Scotland. If anyone does, please let me know. Post a photo in the Royal Reviewer and Friends group. But I can't think of it. So obviously, to get footage and photographs in that article on the same day, they must have been lying in wait. And I think they anticipated making this comparison, trying to pit Cambridges against Sussexes over this sort of carbon battleground which they have created by themselves. Again, pushing all of their narratives which they like to push. So I think they've been lying in wait. Also, if you take a look in the article at the copyright on the photographs, it is copyright of the Mail Online. Typically, it would be a photographer, or if it was a passenger, it would typically be the passenger's name on the copyright. If you do read a bit of the article, trying to avoid their narrative, of course, you will see that they're trying to put it as if a passenger has taken the photographs and passed them on. And the video clip, which I kind of find a little bit surprising because these photographs were published, I don't know, about 4 or 5 hours ago. The flight took off about 8:45. So literally, this passenger, if it was a real passenger, literally had a window of about 3 hours to first of all kind of process what they'd seen. That first of all that they had been on a commercial flight with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and their children, but then also to be able to contact the newspaper and sell them and sell the rights to them, because Mail Online have put copyright Mail Online, not the actual user who sent them in. So I'm thinking they actually fully purchased them. Um, has only taken literally a few hours. I know we live in a world of fast media where anyone can tweet and email things off all around the world, but it does seem it raises a bit of a question to me. Was it really a genuine passenger, a regular everyday person, or was it somebody planted on the plane because the media got wind of, that the Cambridges were going to be travelling on that flight, or they just speculated that that might be one of the most likely flights. Have they had somebody watching every single flight that's been going off recently, just in case the Cambridges got on it? I don't know. It just throws just a bit of questions to me about how they actually obtained it, and also, um, like I say, was it somebody planted just to try and capture this moment and trying to push this narrative? But anyway, um, basically they got away with it. The people on the plane, if you are to believe the article, said that they didn't even know that the Cambridges were on there. Apparently, they were sat at the very front. So I'm imagining that was either first class or business class. I'm not quite sure what that plane had, but they must have been seated up the front. So how they got on the plane without without any passenger knowing whatsoever, is beyond me, because they would have either had to have gone on one of those concealed gangways or up a flight of steps. Now it looks like at the other end, it wasn't a concealed gangway, it was they're walking across the tarmac, so I think it was the kind of steps. So how anybody wouldn't know they were on there, I have no idea. Or, to be quite honest, these are photographs of them obviously getting off the plane. So, did somebody on the plane or a member of the press at the airport tip the press that that they were going to be getting off at Edinburgh, obviously? So, did the press kind of lay in wait? It does look a little bit like the photographs were taken from maybe a plane window, possibly, or somebody coming down another set of steps. But we do see William leading the way, followed by George, followed by Charlotte. They are carrying their own bags. Each is carrying their own bags. And Catherine is carrying Louis. And we had talk about the nanny, didn't we, yesterday, about are they seen in plain clothes? So I think it's either an assistant or the nanny that's walking beside Catherine in plain clothes, not in any uniform. So there we go. And of course, like I say, it is drawing comparisons from the media about how the Cambridges have travelled and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Now, one other thought I had is perhaps this is always the way that the Cambridges have travelled up to Scotland. Like I say, I can't find any example of them coming off a private jet going up there. So this could literally be just the normal way that they typically would get to Scotland. But because of all the furore in the press about private jets and carbon footprints and all the rest of it, it's kind of drawn attention, and they are literally trying to pit this narrative, Duke and Duchess against Duke and Duchess, and it's just a nonsense. So I'm going to go now to the comments and just see what people are making of it. Matilde says, good morning from San Diego, California. You've been a busy bee on YouTube. I haven't stopped. I really haven't. Hello to everyone who's in the room. Mrs. Prince says, exactly, no one ever bothered since Meghan married Harry. They have never left her alone. I agree, because, like I say, it's never, ever, ever, as far as I'm aware, been a big fuss about how the Cambridges have travelled. It just hasn't. So yes, I would agree. I think it is because of all of that. Sharon's finally made a live. Hello and welcome. Matilde says, since when has the Daily Mail been so passionately concerned about global warming? Only until now. Indeed, I would say. Alma, hello. You're in Trinidad and Tobago. I will get my words out eventually. Mrs. Prince says, I absolutely hate the bullying going on towards Harry and Meghan. And Matilde says, the Daily Mail is using global warming as a nugget in their self-proclaimed war of the Dukes and Duchess of Sussex. Come on, yes, true. Nashia says, do you think the Cambridges could have tipped them off? It's hard and difficult to say. I mean, you cannot rule out anything. That, of course, is a possibility. And I know that some people are going to be kind of accusing the Cambridges of maybe tipping the press off to make them look good over the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. But I kind of don't feel that that is necessary. And also, that would kind of almost be self lampooning the monarchy, of which they are eventually going to be king and queen of. So it kind of would seem a little bit, it would kind of be like a self saboteur, wouldn't it? You'd be self sabotaging your own institution, of which you are one day going to be head of, to do that. So, and at what expense? The Cambridges aren't getting the criticism that Harry and Meghan are getting, so why would they want to further compound it? It just kind of doesn't really make sense. You would only kind of believe that if you believed that the Cambridges were being, intentionally horrible themselves towards Harry and Meghan, which I have to say I don't, because I just don't. I mean, we saw how they were sat together in the carriage at Trooping the Colour. It didn't look to me like any kind of animosity going on. And also, like I say, this could be the week when Harry and Meghan also somehow fly up or get up to Scotland, and you can bet your bottom dollar that the press will be watching how they get there. So will they be going the same way that the Cambridges have? Will they even, not even fly at all? Will they go by road? I mean, it is conceivable that they could go by land, by actual vehicle, road vehicle, rather than, or even train, maybe. So kind of, it'd be interesting to know how Harry and Meghan get there. Will they be there at the same time as the Cambridges? We don't know. I did see a kind of another negative article a few days ago, trying to point out that the Cambridges and the Sussexes aren't staying actually in Balmoral Castle at the same time. And again, that is just practicalities. Balmoral from the outside looks like a big, huge, whopping, great big castle. It's actually a lot smaller than what you would think inside. It doesn't have that many guest suites, and with all the family coming up, and staff accommodation and all the rest of it, there isn't actually that much room at Balmoral. Believe it or not, there isn't. So it does have lots of lodges and cottages on the estate. What was decided that was best was that the Cambridges, because obviously they are a big family unit in themselves, would have some kind of lodge or accommodation, and that Harry and Meghan with Archie would stay in some kind of suite of rooms, some kind of guest suite in the castle. It's not because they want to be away from each other. They'll probably be spending a lot of time together, but it's easier to have it that way. It would literally be a bit too cramped to try and fit the Cambridges as a family unit into kind of ad hoc rooms all over the castle. It's easier for them to be a family unit together, and of course, whilst Archie is still young and a baby, he's still sleeping in the same room, we think, as Harry and Meghan. So it's easier to accommodate them in the castle and the Cambridges in some kind of lodge or something on the estate. So again, they're trying to push this negative narrative, but it will be interesting to see how, if the press do find out, how Harry and Meghan do travel up to Scotland. Will it be the same way as the Cambridges? The mind boggles. Bonita says, others are saying it was staged by the media. Again, like I say, it does throw a few questions, put a few questions in my head about the first of all, the ownership of the photos. It's copyrighted as Mail Online. Secondly, how quickly it got from being taken by a private citizen to being published and the copyright being taken over by the Daily Mail. So it could have been staged. That's what I'm kind of maybe alluding to. It could have been staged, but by whom? by the Daily Mail themselves, by a member of the royal family themselves. I just thought I would put that out there that, you know, anything is a possibility. Karine says, those nanny uniforms are ugly. I would probably have to agree with you. However, they are seen as being prestigious. And those Norland nannies, they are very happy and proud to be wearing them. I mean, that's what they've done. They're really difficult and time-consuming course to be able to wear. So, of course, that's like getting to be able to wear that uniform in a proper employed position is like that's a really great honour. But I agree, they aren't terribly, although they were redesigned. Yes, they did. In fact, they were redesigned by a famous fashion house, I do believe. I can't remember which one, but that they were redesigned by a famous fashion house. Diane says, is this news because we have never seen the Cambridges fly commercial? No, not entirely. I haven't seen how they've flown to Scotland previously, but there are examples where William and Catherine have both flown commercial. So if you look on the internet, there is actually examples where they have flown commercial. So it's not unheard of, but for me, it's unheard of flying to Scotland. I don't think I've ever seen any example of it before. But then again, I can't seem to find any example of them flying private jet either. It's just that it's not been a big concern before. Nobody has been interested before how they have flown there. It's only since all this private jet carbon footprint thing with Harry and Meghan that it's become this big thing that everyone's, well, the press is focusing on. I don't think people particularly care about how any of them get there. But hey, it is what it is at the moment. Queen says, love the tiara and the brooch. Well, it is my Balmoral tiara, and it is the Canadian maple leaf, which is lovely. I haven't worn it for a while, so I just thought I'd wear it. NR says, I don't think it's fair for anyone to hate on the Cambridges. It's not their fault. The press are using them to make Harry and Meghan look bad. And Diane says, part of what enrages the media against their Royal Highnesses and Sussexes is they can't manipulate them like puppets. The Cambridges play along, thus all of a sudden the Cambridges staff on commercial flight. Like I said, again, we can't say that that's the case because I can't find any examples of how they've flown up to Scotland before. That's why I'm saying, if anyone knows of any actual photographic evidence of how they got there previously in previous years, do let me know. Peg says, thanks for giving the balanced news. Well, like I say, there are many ways of looking and judging and interpreting this story. So I thought I would just kind of make this video to put out all the different aspects of what it could possibly be. But like I say, reading that article, I do think there is something slightly dodgy, if you want, about how those photographs were taken and how they got to be published so quickly under the copyright of Daily Mail. Karine says, really, a fashion house design? Yes, it was. They had some famous designer redesign them. I'm pretty positive. And also, because they were taking on male Norland nannies, they wanted some kind of outfit for the males as well. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Is it Z-S-L-E? Is that Zlee? Zlee Brennan. Well, I'm here at 3:16 a.m. on Friday morning. Hello to you, and I hope I got your name right. Dawn says, I am getting so tired of this carbon footprint thing. Aren't we all? Hey, there are fires burning in Brazil, putting how much carbon? Not to mention cutting off the lungs to the planet. There is, all this carbon going on in the world, and people are focusing on a few tiny flights? Really? Peg says, I'd like to give a black fan flap for all the haters of either the Cambridges or the Sussexes. Please let us allow God to teach us love. Yes, and I will give you that. I will do what you want. There you go. I agree with you. That's for all the haters out there. But yes, all this Cambridge against Sussex's thing is just, yes. Nashia says, with all the heat on the Sussexes now, suddenly there are photos of the future King of England on a commercial flight with photos inside and outside of the aircraft. No other passengers, no. I'm definitely thinking that something's up. Don't know exactly for sure. I can't say for sure, but there's something. Okay. Let's have a look. I think I've answered all the questions, and to be perfectly honest, there isn't really anything else to say on the story except that is what it is at the moment. Any further developments, of course, I will let you know. And also, like I say, will we see Harry and Meghan travelling up? Maybe tomorrow, Friday, might be a good time to travel. So I definitely think Sunday at church at Balmoral with the Queen will be interesting. Who will we see in the cars? Even if Harry and Meghan do go, will they show themselves in the cars going to church? I don't know. That will be interesting. So I will do a live on Sunday evening in the UK here, basically updating you on what we have seen on Sunday. So, like I say, please leave a comment, either in the description box, obviously if you're watching on catch up, about what you think. What do you think went down? Like I said, I've been through all the different possible scenarios. What do you think has happened? Why do you think it's gone that way? Let me know your thoughts, because I do like to read them. So if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and also hit the notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me in Shropshire, mwah, and goodbye.